All right, another Nerdy Virgin podcast. I didn't do last week. I'm not sure if anyone noticed. But if you did notice, hey, I'm sorry I didn't do it. I got a bit rushed, but I'm back this week. We're back and we're better than ever. I'm doing another Trek-themed comedy show on this Sunday, April 19th at 5 p.m. at Flappers Comedy Club and Restaurant. You should come and see it. You should come. Why'd you come? Why'd you come? What do you do? What have you got better to do than to come see it? Okay, so, well, how am I doing? I'm making slightly bad dietary decisions. I haven't succumbed to the sugar addiction for a while. That's good. But I did have multiple California rolls at a restaurant recently, and it was one California roll too many. And it's been throwing me in a digestive spiral. And I just need to remember what Clint Eastwood says. It's what Clint Eastwood said when they asked him what's the secret to your longevity. He said, I don't eat for pleasure. And I got to remind myself, I shouldn't be eating for the sake of enjoyment. I should be eating, it's a nutritional transaction. That's all it is. If anything, you know what? I should be eating for pain. That's the thing to do. I should be ordering the stuff that I don't want. I should be dreading eating. That's the only way to eat healthy. It should be torture. That's exactly what it should be. I should look on the menu and go, what's gonna break my spirit? I'll have that. And that's apparently the only way for me to live another 40 years. Ugh. So that's happening. So I watched. You remember Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets? Remember that movie? Anyone? This might be a reach. It was Luc Besson. I'm butchering his name. Luc Besson directed it and wrote it. Guy who did Fifth Element. It's got a Fifth Element vibe to it, but it's based on a French comic book. Beautiful looking movie, beautiful. It came out in 2017, almost 10 years ago, and I watched it recently. I don't know what compelled me to watch it. I don't know. I wanted something sci-fi, but I didn't want the usual sci-fi. I wanted something off-kilter. As I said off-kilter, by the way, I turned my neck, I craned my neck this way, and I felt a sudden twinge of pain right there. So just another reminder that I am 44 years old. That's my body saying, hey, you're 44 years old. Had one California roll too many? Hey, you're 44 years old. Oh, you thought you could go, be fully functional brain-wise off of 2 hours of sleep? Hey, you're 44 years old. Better bring those expectations round. But at any rate, Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. Here's what I'll say about it, okay? The lead actor, I think I'm going to butcher his name. I think, is it Dane DeHaan? I think that's what he was. He was one of the bad guys in the Sony Spider-Man movies, right? I think this is a really good actor, okay? I think he's got high cues. I think he's a really good actor. I don't think he was cast. I think he was miscast. That's going to be my hot take on this. I think he was miscast only because the plot of Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets is that you've got these two soldiers, male, female, right? And they're partners. And he's saying, marry me. You got to marry me. He's saying that to her. You got to marry me. All the other ones meant nothing. You got to marry me. I'm ready to settle down. You got to marry me, which is great. But they both look like they're 17 years old. And I think in the movie, he's been in the service for 9 years. He looks 15. That's the thing. It's nothing. That's it. Like, it should have been, like, I feel like like it should have been two people in their 40s. That would have made more sense to me, I think. Right? Am I crazy? It just was, no, you're the one for me. We should get married. I mean, it's like, but can you drink? Like it was very weird. That, it kept gnawing at me the whole time. And I think the other thing about it was, there was something about, like, what I loved about The Fifth Element is that there's a journey, like that literally and metaphorically, they're going on a journey and they're hopping from place to place. And there's, 2 or 3 different locations, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. And with this one, once they get to the City of 1,000 Planets, they're kind of, like, they're just in the same, I mean, within that there were different locations, you could say, but it didn't feel so much as a journey. This one felt more like unraveling the mystery of what happened. It was like the two of them were trying to solve a mystery, but it was a mystery that was, I don't think anyone was surprised when we found out who was the bad guy. It seemed pretty obvious from the get-go. I guess in a roundabout way, what I'm trying to tell you is that I didn't like the listen. I liked it. Didn't like it as much as The Fifth Element. I appreciate it. Okay. I mean, it really holds up. It looks fantastic. Like the art design, utterly amazing. You got to give that, you got to give credit where credit is due, man. But yeah, I think I think I got to be honest with you, because here's the other thing too, that I see people review. Everyone reviews movies all over the place. They're so hard to make, and I feel thousands of people worked really hard for someone on the internet to go yeah, and to get 1 or 2 likes on it like that. That just kind of ticks me off a little bit. I'm now doing a review of this podcast, which is a review podcast, and I'm giving this review podcast a negative review because why we got to make it negative? Why we got to make it negative? The central concept behind Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets, the City of 1,000 Planets was like, it started as this tiny space station that kept adding and adding and adding as more cultures kind of came together, and it became this giant melting pot. Which was, it's a cool, beautiful idea. And within this giant melting pot, we have this plot going around that really doesn't seem to have anything to do with the giant melting pot now that I describe it. Living on a space station. It's space station. Living on a space station. Oh, it's tricky when you're living on a space station. It's like Babylon 5, Deep Space Nine. Things happen. Like there's a lot of drama on a space station. You don't see a lot of space stations where things run smoothly. There's, you go on a space station and a lot of these sci-fi adventures, you're going to grow and change at the end of it. You won't come back the same. All right, there's Deep Space Nine. There was no Deep Space 5 where, things have been running smoothly for the past 15 years. There's been no problems. The cafe closed. That was kind of sad, but we got another one. Like there's none of that. None of that happens in science fiction and modern science fiction. There's a space station, there's going to be trouble. So I watched that. Oh, I also watched Alien 3. Remember that one? Ripley's bald. Remember that one? At the end of Aliens, she saves the little girl. They fly off. They did it. And then they completely negate it in the third one. The fragile family that she's created, the fragile family that was born out of the cauldron of misery that was Aliens, was immediately just squashed for Alien 3. And just all the hope was just dashed. And it was just, she's on a planet with convicts and they're all terrible. And there's this alien and the company wants the alien. And she finds out that she's infected with the alien and one way or another she's going to die and everyone dies. And it's just a downer. Why didn't I enjoy that more? That's right up my alley in terms of my hot take on things. And you know what I did? I had to cleanse myself. I had to have hope. I had to have hope at the end of every Alien 3. So then I immediately watched Alien Resurrection. There is hope. She was resurrected. And it kind of has a happy ending. She's survived, and she's back on Earth, and even though she's the clone, but was like, the clone. There might be a future for her. There might be a happy ending there. We don't know. We've never seen it. We haven't seen Ripley since. Maybe she'll get a cottage. Maybe the next 50 years of this Ripley clone has been roughly uneventful. She takes up sewing. She opens a tailoring shop. She and the android. It's fairly lucrative. I mean, look, they're not rich, but they get by. That's what's important. They get by. And then one day she's talking to the grandkids. Yeah, you think it's bad. Let me tell you about the time that I was cloned and they took a queen out of me and I had to fight the queen and the queen's weird child, which almost tried to eat me, but also was kind of into me. Yeah, you think you have it bad with your, AP classes. I feel good about what's happened here today. This has to be 10 minutes, right? I think, all right, there's going to be this and then some sketches, and this feels like 10 minutes. Speaking on behalf of the board of directors of the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, I think we need to give up the alien thing. We must capture the secrets of the xenomorph. We've been trying for 400 years to do this, haven't we? I mean, ever since the 20th century. We never seem to just get our hands on the pesky alien. Think of the advances in weaponry and medicine. Some plucky heroic figure always comes along and thwarts our plans. I think it's time to move on. It's the only way that we can remain competitive. You want to remain competitive? Get the DNA of the people who keep thwarting the aliens, and let's use that. Did you hear they're moving the torpedo bay to the secondary hull? Really? I think it's going to look better down there. I liked it better when it was on the primary hull. Now we're going to have to commute. It's 5 more stops on the turbo lift. Hey, did you guys see they're moving the torpedo bay to the secondary hull? Looks better, doesn't it? Much more imposing. Nobody wants to work on the secondary hull. His commute just got worse. Look at it this way. At least you're not in a Miranda-class weapons pod. I have not heard good things about that weapons pod. No toilet. No toilet. How could they do that? Captain Sisko was lost in Quadrant 48. The only ships that Starfleet can spare are the USS Defiant and the USS Craig T. Nelson. That's not enough ships. Wait, what was the name of the second one? USS Craig T. Nelson. Who's Craig T. Nelson? The lead of the hit sitcom Coach and Mr. Incredible from the Incredibles movie by Pixar. No one's disputing the talent, appeal, and charm of Craig T. Nelson. And that is as it should be. Just don't usually name our starships after. Have you seen Coach? I mean, really seen it? Careful what you say. Attention Starfleet officers, due to the recent contagion on the USS Enterprise, we would just like to remind you that if you were wearing a hazmat suit in an area where there might be a contagious disease, don't take off your glove to wipe your nose. I don't know why we have to announce this. We think this is pretty obvious, but dude, don't take off your glove to wipe your... End transmission.
They're trying to figure out a way to send astronauts to Mars, and the problem is you get too far out of Earth's atmosphere, there's all this radiation, and they're trying to figure out a way to protect the astronauts. So one idea they had was to line the ship with a sack of fluid that would be filled with, among other things, the astronauts' feces. So we're talking about poop shields. And that tells me we're not ready to go to Mars. And with our luck, that'll be the ship that the aliens meet us. And the aliens are like, what's that smell? It's like our poop shields. Don't you have poop shields? And the aliens will say, no, we don't. We waited an extra 50 years until we could come up with a process that did not involve poop. Because we were not in that big of a hurry to get to a dead planet.
do 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 da 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 da.